In the ever-evolving world of smartphones, anticipation is mounting for the upcoming launch of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Series, set to make its grand entrance in the first quarter of 2024. While the series promises both subtle and significant enhancements across its models, it is the Galaxy S24 Ultra that steals the spotlight with its intriguing departure from convention. While the iPhone 15 Pro Max is Apple's premium smartphone offering, with titanium and an entirely new camera, the main improvements over the previous model. An iPhone 15 Pro Max versus Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra showdown looms over the current smartphone landscape. As the next big releases from Apple and Samsung, both phones figure to battle it out for the title of Best Phone. And the outcome of that showdown will say a lot about the smartphone market in the next year and beyond. iPhone 15 Pro Max versus Samsung S24 Ultra. Design and display. Apple has opted for an all-new titanium build for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Apple also suggests a titanium build is sturdier, boasting one of the highest strength-to-weight ratios of any metal. In addition to titanium, the new Pro Max includes aluminum in its frame to help with heat dissipation. Apple made some other changes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max design. The edges are contoured, which should make the handset more comfortable to hold. Apple introduces the Action button in iPhone 15 Pro Max, which can give you quick access to features like the camera or flashlight on your phone. You can also use it to switch between focus modes, trigger accessibility features, or record a voice memo. The button works with the Shortcuts app on your phone for more customization options as well. In fact, titanium would be enough of a step forward that Samsung is rumored to be considering the material for the Galaxy S24 Ultra as well. Other than that, the Galaxy S24 Ultra could feature a few design tweaks, which makes sense given that Samsung likes the style of the current Ultra so much, it's adapted the look for other phones, including the mid-range Galaxy A series. Reportedly, the Galaxy S24 and S24 Plus are going to have the same design as their predecessors, so you'd expect the Galaxy S24 Ultra to also resist any changes. Expect more changes to the displays on either phone, particularly when it comes to brightness. The maximum brightness of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 2000 nits. Samsung is reportedly looking to boost a 2500 nit peak with the Galaxy S24 Ultra. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 120Hz refresh rate that Apple's included in recent Pro models. That matches what the Galaxy S23 Ultra is capable of, though one rumor suggests Samsung might bump that speed up to 144Hz for the S24 Ultra as a way of setting apart the phone and cementing its reputation as one of the best gaming phones. Bezels could be one other area where the phones differ. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has thinner bezels than its predecessor, while the Galaxy S24 Ultra rumor claims that thicker bezels could return. Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max features a 6.7-inch screen. However, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has a larger 6.83-inch screen. In both phones, there is a screen type option. Samsung's phone only has a 454 ppi display density, while Apple's phone has a display density of 458 ppi. While the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has a 20.5:9 aspect ratio, the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 19.5:9 ratio. In terms of RAM, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra outperforms the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. The Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max has a higher resolution than the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, which has a resolution of 2860 by 1200 at 2778 by 1284. The quantity of internal memory is the same for both. Let's examine the contrast between the two phones. Memory. The greater 12GB RAM of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is superior to the smaller 8GB RAM of the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max for gaming, and both have the same 256GB internal memory. There is a memory card slot on both devices. Camera and OS. The 50MP plus 12MP plus 12MP triple rear camera on the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max is outperformed in terms of resolution by the 200MP quad rear camera on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. If you frequently take selfies, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra will be a better option because it has a better 60MP front camera than the 12MP front camera on the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. The Android operating system on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is version 13, but the iOS operating system on the Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max is version 15. It wouldn't seem like Samsung has much room for improvement after adding a 200-megapixel sensor to the Galaxy S23 Ultra, but a larger sensor size for the S24 Ultra's main camera, allowing the lens to capture more light. The telephoto lens on the Galaxy S24 Ultra could see the bigger improvements. Galaxy S24 Ultra features a 3 to 10 times variable folded telephoto lens, which would do away with the need for two telephoto cameras on the back of the S24 Ultra. Instead, the new lens would use a periscope design and be able to change the focal length while connecting to a single sensor. Additionally, Samsung could turn to a 50-megapixel sensor for the telephoto lens on the S24 Ultra. Apple has upgraded the camera for the iPhone 15 Pro Max with a 5 times optical zoom. Apple claims this is the longest optical zoom ever, allowing you to take more detailed photos of faraway objects. The end result is a telephoto lens on the iPhone 15 Pro Max that can deliver a 5 times optical zoom. Camera improvements don't stop there. The main sensor on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is bigger than before, which should allow it to capture more light in tricky settings. While you can continue to capture images at their full 48-megapixel resolution, both iPhone 15 Pro models capture images at 24 megapixels by default and let users choose different focal lengths. Performance. Here's where things get interesting and a little complicated. Typically, the chipset powering Apple's iPhones sets the performance standard, and that's true of the A16 Bionic chipset inside the iPhone 14 Pro Max, to a point. While the A16 posts superior benchmarking numbers in many tests, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy Silicon that powers the Galaxy S23 Ultra beat Apple's chip in some graphics tests. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has been treated to a performance boost thanks to the inclusion of the new A17 Pro chip. This new processor offers a 10 times CPU performance increase and 20 times GPU. The new iPhone 15 Pro Max has such a powerful performance that it can now run games such as Resident Evil 4 Remake, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. These games won't be playable on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The smaller the process, the denser the transistors, which means greater improvements in power and efficiency. In other words, advantage iPhone 15 Pro Max. Or perhaps not. The Galaxy S24 Ultra could feature the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, with Samsung once again using an optimized version of the Qualcomm Silicon. For what it's worth, early benchmarks of the Qualcomm Silicon have it beating the A16 Bionic by 11% on Geekbench 6. The A16 isn't the A17, of course, but it's clear that the competition between the iPhone 15 Pro Max and Galaxy S24 Ultra will be the closest in years. Battery life and charging. The iPhone 15 Pro Max's battery outperforms due to the groundbreaking 3nm A17 Bionic chip, which promises a 35% increase in power efficiency over the A16 Bionic. Although iPhone 15 Pro Max may not have huge bump in battery capacity compared to iPhone 14 Pro Max, lots of increases of battery life are likely to come from the A17 Bionic chip. In addition, the iPhone 15 Pro Max includes cutting-edge stacking battery technology in its architecture. It allows a greater milliamp hour capacity while preserving the same streamlined form factor. Consequently, customers can anticipate a significant boost in battery life. iPhone 15 Pro Max will be an intriguing alternative for those looking for lengthy hours of uninterrupted use. The Galaxy S23 Ultra was no slouch either when it came to battery life, also ranking among the longest-lasting phones. It will be interesting to see if the Galaxy S24 Ultra can improve upon that performance, particularly if it has to support an even faster refresh rate. Like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Galaxy S24 Ultra could turn to a stacked battery design, which would provide a denser power pack and the same amount of space that the battery takes up in the S23 Ultra. Such a move would require a pretty good cooling system though. Software and special features. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has the iOS 17, Apple's next-generation mobile software. If you've gone hands-on with the iOS 17 beta, you've already seen features like live voicemail, messages improvements, and other enhancements to current apps. By the time the Galaxy S24 Ultra arrives, Android 14 will be out, bringing a number of new customization and privacy features. The most significant edge Samsung's Ultra phone enjoys over the iPhone is likely to remain: a built-in S Pen you can use to jot down notes on your phone. We're hoping that this year's version of the stylus brings with it new features. As you can see, it's still early days in the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra competition, although the new iPhone has arrived. That said, given what we already potentially know about these handsets, from the improved processor to the potential camera enhancements, you can imagine why we're already anticipating this clash of big-screen phones. Thank you for watching the video, and that is all for this one. If you find this video helpful in any way, give a huge thumbs up. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos by subscribing to our channel. See you guys in the next one.